When it comes to paranormal stuff, it's always interesting to hear people's encounters or takes on it. So today I bring you a different kind of paranormal video. Today we're going to hear 3 stories from people who experience paranormal-like situations. This video is brought to us by TikTok user Morgan Lambert. And in this video, Morgan describes a time where she was out at night filming in a barn when she happened to capture what she claims was some kind of creature or humanoid scurrying into the barn. Now, here's the footage from her live stream where she was filming this. Unfortunately, she doesn't seem to actually capture it on camera, so it's more or less her take. At least I don't see anything in this, and I've watched it a couple times. But it's an interesting story, and I thought it was definitely worthwhile hearing, so without further ado, here's Morgan's story. Beware the Appalachia. Because there's something about it I can't explain.
Terrifying experience outside in the Appalachian Mountains the other night. I told you guys briefly what happened a few days ago, but I'm gonna give you the rough draft again because I did go back and find the footage. So the other night, my friends and my husband and I wanted to go up to my parents' farm to see the sunset on the solstice and see the moonrise because it's a very pretty view for both of those things up there. And while we were up there, I was like, let me go live because I bet a lot of others would want to see this as well. And the signal's really bad out there. Anytime I go live, it's pretty glitchy. This night was significantly worse, but I tried. It was really glitchy, but you know, I just wanted to show everything. So as I am pointing the phone at the barn, because the moonrise is kind of beside the barn, I see something run by the barn. And judging by the measurements that I can guesstimate, knowing how big the barn is, this thing was probably 7 feet long and 5 feet tall. It had no tail, smooth tan skin, and it was pretty lean. But it ran past the barn. And when this happened, I remember pointing my camera for the live at the barn. So I was like, you know what? I need to go back in and get that live because I bet I got it on camera. And I went back and I got the footage.
Covered the shed.
They covered the shed?
Yeah.
What, like a bear?
The bottom half of it. It looked tan.
You think there's any chance it was a bear, maybe?
I mean, it could have, but it like sprinted. I don't know if I caught it on camera. Wait, what's that? Is that a cow?
Yeah, it's a cow on the fence.
Yeah,
That's
okay. It just looked like it sprinted past that. I don't know if I got it on camera.
I didn't catch it on camera. I don't know what happened. There was a weird glitch. I'm assuming it was the signal. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. I don't know where that footage went. Maybe it was just a technological glitch. Maybe it was something trying to prevent that footage from existing. I don't like it. I don't know. It's something about it makes me feel icky. It was a lot.
Number 2. This video is brought to us by TikTok user Sydney Davis Jr. Jr. And in this video, we have somebody who had a strange experience in a hospital with the Bloodhound. Now, the Bloodhound to me sounds like a vampire, but you gotta listen to her full story to make your own interpretation on it. I found this looking for vampire content, and it was really interesting.
Story about a time that you know that you saw something, but you don't ever tell this story because you know that no one would ever believe you.
So when I was 20 or 21 years old, my left kidney died. That's not the important part of the story. It just died while I was in college. But the important part of the story is that it sent me to the hospital and I had to have a series of surgeries over the course of my senior year in college. And this story takes place after the very first one. It's the night after my very first surgery, and they told me at the hospital that nurses would be coming in and out, changing my IV bags, taking, blood samples, things like that, checking on me throughout the night, so not to be alarmed. I think they could tell that I'd never been in the hospital for any major stay of any kind. So around 3 a.m, this gentleman comes in and he wakes me up, and my parents were there. They were staying the night. They were sitting in chairs off to the side. They were both asleep in chairs by my bed. So this gentleman comes in. He's real quiet. He's really nice. He's this older, bald gentleman, if I had to guess, maybe 65 or 70. And he has a tackle box with him. And on the tackle box is the normal signs you see for biohazard when people have needles and things like that. And it also had in writing, in permanent marker, the Bloodhound. And the gentleman comes in, he's got a lab coat on, he's got a lanyard covered in things, and he is just as friendly as can be. He's trying to be quiet, but he's also trying to put my mind at ease, and he's there to take some blood. He's there to take a blood sample. And so he gets out his tackle box, and we're just chit-chatting, you know, he's trying to make me feel better. And he says that at the hospital, they call him the Bloodhound because he's the best at drawing blood. He says whenever he does it, it never hurts, and it never causes any problems, and it doesn't even leave that bad of a bruise. And so they call him the Bloodhound. So he opens his tackle box, and it's full of all the stuff you would expect to see in a blood-drawing tackle box. And he takes my blood, we're chit-chatting, he tells me about his granddaughter, this and that, the other, just the nicest old Southern man. He's whispering not to wake up my parents. He takes the little vial, and he gives me a Band-Aid. He gives me a SpongeBob Band-Aid, and I'm pretty sure it was SpongeBob. And it was just a pleasant experience. He just really helped me feel better and helped me stay calm and made the whole experience just really wonderful. So the next morning, the nurse comes in early, early in the morning, and she starts, you know, fiddling with my IV bags. We're just chit-chatting. She's asking how my night went, and I said, I really enjoyed meeting the Bloodhound, and he's very good at his job. And this nurse is like, who? And I said, the Bloodhound. I really enjoyed meeting the Bloodhound. He's really good at his job. I can see why he's popular here at the hospital. And this nurse is like, I don't know anybody named the Bloodhound. I don't know anybody who goes by that name. And I said, oh, you know, he's like maybe 6 feet tall, bald, glasses, older gentleman. He's got the tackle box. He takes people's blood. He's a phlebotomist or whatever. And this nurse is like, we literally don't have anybody at this hospital who goes by the Bloodhound. She goes on to say that she's worked at this hospital for years, and she has never once in her entire career met anybody at that hospital who goes by the Bloodhound, let alone so often that it's written on his kit. And I said, yeah, he came in and he took my blood last night. He took my blood around 3 a.m. So he was on the night shift. Maybe you don't know him because he always works the night shift. She tells me that she's looking at my charts and nobody was scheduled to come take my blood last night. So I proceed to ask every nurse that comes in that day if they know the Bloodhound. Do they know the Bloodhound? Do they know this old man? Do they know a man who fits this description? Yada, yada, yada. Do they know who came in the night before to take my blood? Nobody knows the Bloodhound. Nobody has heard of him. Nobody who fits that description works at the hospital. And the most important part was nobody was scheduled to take my blood the night before. That's the bananas part, is even if he did work there, even if he was a person they all knew, nobody was supposed to come in and take a blood sample from me the night before. But I still had the Band-Aid on. So I know it was not a nightmare. I still had the Band-Aid that he gave me.
Number 3.
This video is brought to us by TikTok user Dave the Bearded Menace, and in this video, Dave discusses essentially the origin of what he claims to be a mimic spirit. Now, whether this was a mimic or just an intelligent spirit, it's an interesting story, and I highly recommend you make your own opinion after listening to it.
And turning on the TV and watching it like at 5% volume, that's how low it would sound. It sometimes would sound like it's in the next room next to you, but it's still at that very low volume. Even if someone was like screaming, it sounded very low, like, hey, help, like very, very low. I don't know really where it came from or if it was already in the house we moved in, but I do have a feeling it manifested the night my sister saw the old woman in her bedroom. On that night, while my sister was inside being terrified by the old woman, my mom and her friend were outside discussing, you know, work and retail life, as you do when you work in retail. While they were talking, they heard someone like mocking them. That was spooky. Sorry. They heard someone mocking them from the back of the garage. Best way I could describe it is my mom would say something like, hey, how was your day? And it would literally sound like, from the back of the garage. And they were hearing this and they're like, what the hell is that? So as two Latino women who are fearless, what did they decide to do? They decided to go investigate. You know, like they're thinking, oh, someone's in the yard. Because they heard it clear as day, someone mimicking every single time they said something. And when they went to the back of the garage, nothing. There was like nothing there. And they're like, well, it's late. You know, it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe we imagine it was a long day at work. And then they would hear from now the front of the garage, like just mocking them every single time they said something. And they went to the front of the garage to check it out. Now, you could say it was being a distraction because my sister was by herself upstairs with the old woman, And my mom and her friend didn't go back into the house until they heard my sister scream and then describe what she saw, which was the old woman, the story from yesterday. As I said, I don't know where it came from. It may have manifested itself that night. It may have been brought from the forest area with the old woman. I don't know. But I do know that's the first time we encountered it, and we encountered it many more times after that. But that is the story of the Mimic. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll have another story for you tomorrow.
Alright, so I know today was a bit different for content, but these are some interesting clips I've been sitting on, and I figured it'd be a good way to share them with you. If you like this kind of stuff, let me know, I'll do more of these. If not, then I'll stop. But either way, thanks for watching, make sure you click the buttons and do the things, and as always, I'll scare you in the next one.